political commentator Benji Irby and chairman of the San Francisco GOP, John Dennis. Okay, so Benji, you wrote a fantastic piece about this. Why do you think this won't happen?
Well, it comes down to the fact that the Democrats really have no real intention upon actually doing this. I mean, that's what my article is about. Just before we start, I am a person that is what would be called FBA or ADOS, meaning that I'm a foundational Black American. I'm American descendant of slaves on both sides. My great-great-grandfather, Hampshire Brown, was a slave. So reparations were a thing. I begin a check and be cashing said check. But reparations is not real. And this is no disrespect to activists like Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore, Tariq Nasheed, Michi X, Dr. Umar, any of those activists in the reparations space. But my article dismantles the legislative narrative around reparations by asking 4 common sense questions. 1, why would Democrats, the party of the poor, want Black people to be rich? If all Black people were suddenly rich and the struggle policies of the Democrat Party no longer suit us, it'd be electoral suicide for them. That's why it would never happen. 2, why didn't Democrats pass reparations when Obama and had the supermajorities in Congress to do it? Because, again, they never had any intention of passing reparations. They just used the promise of reparations as a wedge issue to keep Black people voting for them. Right. 3, why didn't the Congressional Black Caucus hold up Nancy Pelosi's speakership for a vote on funding reparations, not just studying it, just the same way that Matt Gaetz and the 20 rebels held up Kevin McCarthy? Because, again, Democrats have no real intention on enacting reparations. And number 4, how can Democrats be for reparations but be against school choice? If Democrats don't want to give Black parents $30,000 a year from the government to send their kids to a private school or an Afrocentric school like Dr. Umar's school or Michi X's Ziax schools, then what would make you think that that same government would give those same Black parents $5 million? It's a scam, and it always has been a scam.
Fair point. So, John, I mean, Benji makes some really good points, but all these super wokies of San Francisco, wait, hold on a sec here. You're going to tax me $600,000 more to pay for this?
Well, so super wokies in San Francisco, they don't do that in public, at least. They say, oh, this is all great. But I will say, Benji's absolutely right. This is never going to happen. I know firsthand that there are lawyers lining up to sue if this actually passes. It's not going to happen. And again, you have the Democrat Party virtue signaling to the African-American community, offering something that they're never going to get. And it was I was in the Board of Supervisors chambers when they were taking public comment on this last week or the week before, and it was embarrassing. I felt ashamed for them. The other part of this too is that I think there's something in the African American community that sort of hanging over them. We know what it is. They really are concerned about this issue. We should hear them out. I think the only way we get through this is if the echo chambers on both sides stop. And we sit down and have a real conversation. And I think as the arguments against it filter through the African American community, it might help to mitigate the request, for this thing that's just simply never going to happen.
Yeah, but Benji, to my original point, like if reparations are getting paid for that, how come nobody's floating reparations for people who died fighting to end slavery?
Because at the end of the day, it's not about any of that. It's not about slavery or reparations or doing anything to make Black people better or whole. I mean, if the Democrats really wanted some sort of reparations, they had plenty of chances to do it. And like I said on my article at my website, benjiirby.com, or my Substack, this is not going anywhere. The whole point is to keep Black people angry and upset. I always say over and over again, happy Black people don't vote for Democrats.
Right.
Bernie Sanders said years ago, you can never lose that sense of outrage. They want Black people to be upset all the time about things that are never going to happen. If the Democrats really wanted reparations for Black people and really want Black people to be whole, they could push something that actually could pass. They know that this is not going to pass. I tell people all the time, 2024, is John Tester going to vote for reparations? Is Joe Manchin going to vote for reparations? Absolutely not. This is not real. And what I tell people when they try to call me, a raccoon, like my raccoon friends and whatever here, is that there is no real legislative path to reparations. If reparations is real, show me how it passed in Congress. It doesn't.